Hi and welcome to Way of Life Hoops. So let's start by this series Boston versus Miami. So this series was way tighter and way more tough than in the box score looks like. So the first game, Boston won it by 12-13, and it seemed like Miami was doomed, but it wasn't the case. The second game they won and they shoot like 65% from the field. They hit like 23, 24 threes, something like that. So let's mention that Miami didn't have Jimmy Butler and Terry Rozier for this whole series, and they put up a good fight. So let's also mention that some of their role players actually stepped up as always. I wanna give my flowers to Tyler Hero, who stepped up big, and I think that Coach Spolstra and Miami could try to implement him into the point guard next season. That they need to bring a point guard and power forward into some big power forward into the lineups if they wanna make some noise next year. So yeah, this series was a tough one, but Boston also, even though he had their own flaw that they overcome it. Derek White was probably the best player on the series, and he shot the lights out with 49% from the three. Also, Jaylen Brown has been playing good. Tatum's been playing a little bad, but I think he will be better. Also, it is important to mention that Boston didn't play their best. Xavier Tillman didn't play at all, and 49-year-old Al Jefferson, Al Horford played. And bad news for the Celtics is like that Kristaps Porzingis cannot be relied on too much because he's injury prone and his shooting slumps also. So yeah, that's the lesson from the first round, and that I think the Boston will easily go probably to these finals and probably to the finals. Also that they need to get to the rack way more, and they need to get to the free throw line. So yeah, that's the lesson from the first round. The second pair was New York Knicks versus Philadelphia 76ers. So it was probably the most entertaining series in the first round, if you ask me. 76ers, they played their best, but I think that the lack of star depth and the constant failure of Joel Embiid and his MVP crying is over, that these Philadelphia teams need to kind of blow it up or give them all in on some big player. They needed to trade Tobias Harris, and I give my flowers to Joel Embiid. He wanted to play, although he was injured. He played on something. It was obvious, and I think that his dirty plays, like stepping on a hard foot and elbowing Brunson, was too much. So even though they extended the series to the sixth game, I think the Knicks was way better team. So unfortunately for the Knicks, Bojan Bogdanovic went down with the injury, and that's basically it for the Knicks. They played the perfect series. Brunson had first two games a little slower, but I think that he will get his own. He will catch up in the next round. OG Anunoby played good defensively. Offensively, he will get better. And Josh Hart and Dante DiVincenzo probably are currently the best 3-and-D players in the NBA. Also, Isaiah Hartenstein should be in the most improved player conversation, but nobody wanna mention that. And I think that Knicks will probably be the second round. That matchup will probably be the Indiana, and I think they will blow them up because of the physicality and their shooting, and I think the Knicks will probably get to the finals. So I think they're literally one star away, and they need to trade Julius Randle for next season for some two players, or maybe I don't know about their cap space, but they know that they can have that championship window because Brunson is on a very friendly deal, and it is probably the he's probably the max contract player. I don't know about the other player situation, but I think they need to make a move for the Paul George, someone like that in the off season. The third series would be Indiana versus Milwaukee, and I don't have too much to say about this. Giannis was hurt, and that Milwaukee needs a drastic change, and I think that they were pretty aware when they appointed Doc Rivers as the head coach that that isn't gonna end well. Even though I'm a Celtics fan, and I thank him for the title which he bring to us. So yeah, Giannis was hurt, and Chris Middleton is getting older. Brook Lopez isn't the same like he was 2 or 3 years ago. Dame isn't. I mean, Dame played his heart out on the court, but I think that this team isn't kind of belonging to him. That he isn't properly implemented, and I think that he needs to be in a team who kind of fit his needs and his play style, and that Milwaukee isn't that. And also I think that they role players as Beasley and Crowder didn't play their best series. So let's get to the Indiana. Congratulations, like extremely young team with probably best only true point guard in the league remaining, and upcoming in Tyrese Halliburton. So yeah, we've seen some huge improvements, and probably nobody in the media or anywhere else didn't want to mention this series at all. Like the Pascal Siakam trade was kind of topic for 2-3 days, and nobody want to mention except that. And he was cooking the series, and also Obi Toppin played his heart out, and we have to give him his flowers. Also, we have to mention that they played without Benedict Mathurin, and I think that Indiana have a nice team, and that they get to the second round, but they will be beaten by the Knicks. Yeah, I think they go against the Knicks. Yeah, and that I think that it will be probably a fun matchup, but I actually kind of favorite the Knicks, probably also as the media, and I think they have a bright future. They just need to build and to be healthy, and think they have a bright spot in them, in Tyrese and other young players. Orlando versus Cavs. So I don't, I have even less to say than the previous one. Like it doesn't matter who wins this, they will be beaten by the Celtics. So I just want to talk about the future of the Orlando. Paolo Banchero is nicely improving, and Franz Wagner, and I think they have a lot of their first round picks, and I think that they improved drastically this year, but they need a star player, and they need to improve their players. And about the Cavs, that there's no hope for this team. They lack everything. They lack the shooting, they lack the bench. Donovan Mitchell is playing good, but I don't think that he and Garland can cooperate together, and someone that needs to change. That's it for the series. Let's now get to the Western Conference, and the first matchup would be There were Selekis, and I think it was probably most not entertaining, but it was most watched series. And I think that the Lakers need. I think that LeBron will retire as a Laker because the lifestyle of the views on the like let's say popularity that he gives to the Lakers media. And I think that their biggest mistake was what they didn't bring any big bodies like Rajon Rondo said. They need the big bodies to control Jokic because Davis can't do it, even he's too small. They played their best when he was on the floor. So I already talked in the previous videos about Nugget series. They played pretty well, but I think that Jamal Murray needs to play a little better and Jokic needs to be more aggressive because they have a tough next round against Minnesota, and I probably mentioned that team. So, and I mentioned that round, so uh, I will avoid talking about Minnesota right now. So I will be focusing on this series, on probably this series. We don't know the outcome of the Dallas versus the Clippers, so let's try and predict it. I don't know if that is done on purpose, but like Kawhi Leonard or Paul George gets injured every time in the playoffs. I don't know why is that, but I think that they had a nice run, and I think that they need to blow it up. They have the depth, they have the defense, but I don't know what's next for the Clippers. They have everything, but they kinda lack everything. I don't know if they can beat the Mavericks because Mavericks are playing very well. So let's talk about the Mavericks. So I think that they will win the series. Like Doncic kinda get finally decent teammates around him, but I think that they also cannot go very far, very deep into the playoffs. I don't know about the next round against the Oklahoma. I think Oklahoma have a better team around them, and I think that they have too many bodies capable of guarding Doncic. I mean, nobody can guard Doncic, but they can slow him down and try and contain him. So I think Dallas need to bring a good power forward or even a small forward to the team, because PJ Washington and Tim Hardaway Jr. and the players who will you be contending with. Kyrie Irving is playing well, and he kind of gets settled with his own bullshit on the field, on the court. So like yeah, sorry, my mic just dropped. So yeah, I think that Mavericks are kind of wasting Doncic's potential, but they need to make some drastic or radical changes, or Doncic will probably leave in 2 years if they don't make the finals, not the Western Conference, but the finals again. And yeah, let's now talk about the Oklahoma City Thunder. So they were the biggest surprise of the year, and I think that they will probably advance to the finals, and they will meet the Nuggets, and who knows who will win in that series. I really cannot predict that. So yeah, I think they have a bright future against them. They have Jalen Williams. They have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Chet Holmgren. Also, their bench is good, but I think that they need a little more experience, and I think that need a star small forward who can shoot and who can play defense, maybe even a small power forward, because Jalen Williams isn't quietly. He's more like shooting guard than the small forward, and I think if they can trade their own first round and Josh Giddey for that, and I think in a couple of years they will probably get to maybe even to three finals, and I think that will get to the title eventually. So that was my view and my impressions for the first round, and maybe even more. So tell me your thoughts, and please like and subscribe to the channel. It means a lot. Thanks.